I was born and raised in Holland, Michigan, born to a Christian family. And we moved to Florida and were diagnosed with some health problems, and we had lived there about 10 years. And the doctors recommended we move to family. I had some heart problems. My wife was diagnosed with some memory issues. And so we moved to Arizona, where we have a daughter and 2 sons. And so it's been a good move for us. A couple years ago, I had open heart surgery, and it was kind of a rush job, and I had about 4 or 5 days to think about it. And through that period of time, several times I was questioning myself that something's got to be the matter with me, because I had no concerns or no worries about the coming surgery. And when I left with the family, I said, 2 things are going to happen, and they're both good. I said, I'm either going to my heavenly home or I'll return to my earthly home. And anyway, they strapped me down on the operating table, and just before they put me under, I said, I'm in complete peace with myself. And the next day they get you up walking around, and I got to thinking about what I said. And through all that period of time, what I was feeling was peace, but the word peace never entered my mind, And it's an awesome peace, and that's carried through to this day. And a year ago, this past January of 18, I was diagnosed with cancer. And that came about, I was having difficulty breathing, and I had a lot of pain in my back shoulder blade. And if I take a deep breath, it was really painful. I got on the internet and I said, oh, that's pleurisy, So I made the doctor's appointment. He listened, he said, yeah, you do have pleurisy. So he gave me a shot, and that only lasted a couple of days. I was back, and he gave me another shot. He said, I want you to have a lung scan. So I did, and he called me a couple of years later, and he said, Paul, he said, I hate to tell you this, I'm very sorry, but you got lesions in your lung. And he said, I want you to have, he recommended a doctor, and he said, I would like you to have a scan. And so I had the scan and met with the doctor, and they were giving me a bone treatment, and the doctor and the nurse and several technicians came into the room where I was getting the treatment, and she proceeded to tell me, what I had. I had cancer in both lungs. I had bone cancer and cancer in my lymph nodes. And I had discussed with a family before that quality of life was more important to me than quantity, that I was not going to take treatments and be miserable all day, and I'd rather have a shorter lifespan of quality. And I said to the doctor at that time, I said, what's my prognosis without treatment, or with treatment? She says, a year, give or take a couple months. And I said, without treatment? She says, 6 months, give or take a couple months. And I said, that long? And everybody started to laugh. I said, what's so funny? She says, excuse me, your attitude. She said, we should have you around here all the time, because that's what I had prayed for. And that's what I had said to my wife when I got this, that I could show God's love and peace through my actions and contacts with others. And after I had radiation and my pain was gone completely, I started playing golf again, and people would come up to me and say, sorry to hear about your cancer and all this and that. And to each one I said, I have no complaints with what I have, no problems with what I have. I'm in complete peace with myself. And it went on for several weeks. And in the meantime, there's 3 other guys. We get together 3 or 4 nights a week, talk politics and sports. And they were always amazed and always complimented me about my attitude and how I felt, and they couldn't understand it. And, you're one in a million, and one of the guys said, I tell everybody and my friends, when I grow up, I want to be like Paul. So over a period of time, this has gone on, and the day before Christmas, I get a phone call. and it's from one of the guys. And he said, Paul, he said, I want you to know, he said that my son and I are going to Christmas Eve service. He hadn't been in church in over 30 years. I thought, praise the Lord, you know. And he's been attending church somewhat since. So basically, that's where it stands. And I'm on a journey, and I've named the journey Peace. And it's the awesome peace that you feel. And maybe 6 weeks ago, I started getting pain in my upper back, in my spine, and I knew right away what it was because the radiologist had said bone cancer. Excuse me. The pain doesn't come and go; it stays constant, and it did. And I had a scan coming up in a couple days anyway, and I was laying in bed, and I said, "Got to talk with God." And I said, "What's your message? What are you trying to tell me?" And he said, "Joy." That's the first word that came to my mind. So now I'm sitting there with an awesome peace and joy. And there was a period of time that I thank God for my cancer because of the opportunity it provided me. You know, here's a guy that's got stage 4 cancer and thanking God for it. And but it's given me the opportunity to be a testimony to His grace and goodness. And I guess maybe the message I would want to leave is we're all on a journey. And the important thing about the journey is that where it ends and not when. None of us know when it's going to end, and the important thing is where. And I know where mine is going to end. Mine is going to end with my Heavenly Father. Are you sure where yours is going to end?